مسافرت نے جسے بے بسی یہ دکھلائی، نثار کر دیے بچے نہ بچ سکا بھائی، اسیر ہو کے جسے شامیوں کے نرغے میں حسینیت سکھانا ہے علی کے لہجے میں، سکینہ بی بی تمہارے غلام حاضر ہیں، بجھے جو پیاس تو اشکوں کے جام حاضر ہیں، یہ سن یہ حشر یہ صدمے نئے نئے بی بی، کہاں پہ بیٹھی ہو خیمے تو جل گئے بی بی، پہاڑ رات بڑی دیر ہے سویرے میں، کہاں ہو شام غریباں کے گپت اندھیرے میں، زمین گرم یتیمی کی سختیاں بی بی، وہ سینہ جس پہ سوتی تھی اب کہاں بی بی، جناب مادر بشیر کو بھی سب کا سلام، عجیب وقت ہے کیا دیں تسلیوں کا پیام، ابھی کلیجے میں ایک آگ سی لگی ہوگی، ابھی تو گود کی گرمی نہ کم ہوئی ہوگی، صلوات اللہم صلی۔ جزاک اللہ برادر جزا، درود بر محمد و آل محمد۔ Please come inside the prayer hall. Brother Imdad Imam wanted to start program early tonight because the people have come far from, so they can have enough time to go back home. So welcome Brother Sheikh Khalid Jameel to the member with a loud Nara Salawat. اللهم صل على محمد بسم الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني.
Move up, all the way up, to the member, please. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله. صلى الله عليك وعلى أهل بيتك الطيبين الطاهرين. صلى الله عليك يا مولاي وابن مولاي. غريب يا مظلوم كربلاء. يا ليتنا كنا معكم سيدي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله في محكم كتابه الكريم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وقضى ربك ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه وبالوالدين إحسانا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على طه الأمين وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. In the name of God, the Merciful, the Beneficent, all prayer and praise is due to the Prophet Muhammad and his holy household. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Inshallah, the second salawat will be in honor of Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And our third salawat to hasten the reappearance of our Imam, Imam al-Asr wa zaman. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. By the way, before we begin the majlis, just a small reminder, inshallah all of you guys are aware of this, however the reminder is for myself and for my younger brothers. The heaviest deed you can put in your book, in your a'mal, is the salat upon Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. In the narration that the salat over the Prophet and his family destroy the greatest of sins. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. In chapter 12, verse 23, the Quran reads, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. And your Lord has decreed that you worship none but He. That is the first decree. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. And be dutiful unto your parents. Then it says, if they get old, if one or both of them become old in your presence, do not say uff to them, do not push them away, do not turn them away. فلا تقل لهما أف ولا تنهرهما وقل لهما قولا كريما. And say good words unto them. Say generous words unto them. We see Allah says Allah has decreed. What is that decree? That decree is the most important thing in religion, which is what? Worshipping Allah. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. You worship none but He. That is a very important decree. Because what is Islam? Islam is based upon what? Worshipping of Allah. So Allah says, I have decreed that you worship only me. Only Allah. Then be dutiful unto your parents. Now that's not a second decree, brothers and sisters. That is the same decree. Allah has put birrul walidain al-ihsan to the walidain. Ihsan means to be good to them, to be dutiful to them, alongside with tawheed, with worship of Allah. Does that give you a significance, the importance of being good to your parents? Now I know my younger brothers are going to say, well, what about the old guys? Most of the old guys, their parents are gone. Brother, being dutiful, brothers and sisters, being dutiful unto your parents, whether they are living or dead. And inshallah, we will explore this. I know that when I'm living and my parents are living, I know how to be good to them. But what about when they're dead? How can I be good to them if they're dead? That's something we will cover today. It doesn't matter if you're 50 years old, 14 years old, 70, 80 years old. Your job as a person is to be good to your parents, whether they're living or dead. The concept of parenthood has been mentioned in the Quran 7 times. The concept of how to treat your parents. This in verse 17. In chapter 17. In chapter 2, Surah Al-Baqarah reads, وَإِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ, and we have taken an oath, a covenant from the sons of Israel. What is that oath that Allah has taken from Bani Israel? أَن لَا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا اللَّهِ, do not worship anyone but Allah. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, and be dutiful unto your parents. Same thing. Allah has taken an oath from the sons of Israel. Chapter 4, Surah An-Nisa, verse 36. Here it's in the form of a command. You guys know what the difference between a command and a non-command is, right? A command is when I say to you, get up, go do something. It is an order. Correct? Allah here orders people. He says, وَعْبُدُ اللَّهِ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Worship Allah, a command. And do not worship anything with Him. Do not associate anything with Allah. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, and be dutiful unto your parents. Subhanallah. Allah commands you first and foremost to worship Him. Then don't associate anything with Him. Then be good to your parents. Do we see the importance here? Do we see the trend that's taking place? Also chapter 4. Sorry, that's the same one. Chapter 6. قُلْ تَعَالَوْا. Who is saying this? Allah is saying to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Allah says, Ya Muhammad, say to the Jews, قُلْ تَعَالَوْا, come to me. I will narrate to you what has been forbidden upon you. لا تشركوا بالله, do not worship anyone but Allah. Do not associate anything with Allah. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Same thing. Verse 31. Here it says, وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ, and we have enjoined. You guys know what enjoined means? Enjoined means that when someone tells you to do something, okay? They are enjoining you. They are trying to encourage you. They are giving you a wasiyah. Who here knows what the word wasiyah means? I think the same word is also in Farsi and in Urdu, is it not? Wasiyah. When I tell you, you know what, brother? It could be as a recommendation, but enjoining is stronger than recommendation, because a recommendation you can do or you cannot do. A wasiyah you have to do. Right? Because if we say recommendation, then the wasiyah of the Prophet to Imam Ali is irrelevant. You can follow it or you cannot follow it. However, the wasiyah is something you should do. You have to do. It's a ahsantum. It's a wajib. The Quran here says, وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانِ, and we have given a wasiyah to mankind. بِوَالِدَيْهِ, we have given this wasiyah, okay, about his parents. حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ, his mother has carried him. His mother bore him, carried him in weakness and hardship, over weakness and hardship. Brothers, if you guys don't pay attention, I'll have you sit right in front of me. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Why is it hardship and weakness? For those of us that are not parents, we don't understand it. For those of us that are parents, it's very clear why weakness and hardship. In fact, we see that the mother stays up all night long. For what purpose? To make sure her son is asleep. To make sure her daughter is asleep. When the child cries, she might get annoyed a little bit. But that getting annoyed is because she wants to remove the pain from that child. Especially if that child is still young. Especially if that child is still breastfeeding. That's why we say, Ya Rabab. Rabab is the wife of Imam Hussein, the mother of Abdullah al-Rabi'. Al-Rabab came to Imam Hussein. I don't want to go into the tragedy, but it's just a reminder. Al-Rabab came to Imam al-Hussein. She gave him his son. She saw that he was upset, and usually when a father is upset, they bring him his newborn. He loves seeing his newborn happy, loves seeing his newborn smile. However, what did Imam Hussein saw? He saw his newborn yavdarib. Yavdarib means that he was not shivering, that he was in so much pain, he was moving side to side. He was not calm. So he says, Zainab, mali arahu yavdarib. Why do I see him in this state? She said, Ya Hussein, his mother's milk has dried out. He hasn't had milk in 3 days. 6 months years old. They say Hussein looked at the baby and he says, Bunay bu'dan liqawmi yakunu gadan jadduka khasmahum. May Allah, may they never see, or may they be pushed away from Allah's mercy. This group of people who on Judgment Day your grandfather will take your vengeance. They say Rabab, after the death of Imam Hussein, they gave the women water. Rabab was still breastfeeding. When she drank water, milk automatically came back. So Zainab went out looking for Rabab. Zainab, when she collected the women, she could not find Rabab. She started calling, Rabab, where are you? She wouldn't answer. So when she went out, she saw a guy standing. She looked at him and she says, what do you want from us? If you're here to scare us, we have been scared. If you're here to rob us, we have been robbed. What do you want? He says, Mawlati, Umar ibn Sa'd sent me to protect you. They say Zainab cried and she said, Amin ba'da ayn Abil Fadl, anta alladhi tahmina. After Abu al-Fadl Abbas, you are the one that protects us? Who are you? Then she says to him, have you seen a woman in the battlefield? He says, no, but I heard moaning and crying coming from that area. They say Sayyidah Zainab went, she saw Rabab. In what status, in what state? She saw Rabab holding the body of her infant, who has been beheaded. 6 months years old. Sayyidah Zainab says to her, Rabab, what are you doing here? She said, Mawlati Zainab, I drank water, فَصَدْرِ أَوْجَعَنِي وَثَدْيَاي دَرَّتَا عَلَيْ. I felt milk come back when I drank water. So I came to my son, hoping that there is a glimmer of life in him. However, I see that he is beheaded. Brothers and sisters, our mothers and our fathers go to the extreme to ensure that we have the best of life possible. Go to the extreme. When I say they go to the extreme, truly. In fact, if you want something and your father can't get it for you, I guarantee you your father will not sleep that night. And if he sleeps thinking about what my son wanted and I couldn't get for him. But in turn, I have to respect that as well. If I know my father can't get me something, I shouldn't pressure him into getting it. because it will give him nothing but pain, nothing but sorrow. And in most cases, what you want are things that waste your time. You want a video game, you want a cell phone, and you pressure your father and you pressure your mother, and this is what I want, without any consideration for their feelings. However, all they do is they consider what will make you happy, what will benefit you. Nonetheless, Surah Al-Ahqaf, chapter 46, verse 15. وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ إِحْسَانًا حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ كَرْهًا وَوَضَعَتْهُ كَرْهًا. Same thing. And we have enjoined unto mankind to be dutiful on to their parents. Continuing, chapter 29, verse 8, same thing. وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ إِحْسَانًا. Continuing. It keeps on going. Every time Allah wants to speak about your parents, what does he say? The first thing Allah says is, be dutiful unto them. Then the Quran says, وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ لِتُشْرِكَ بِي. Some people say, well, what if my parents are not good people? That's a common question. Allah here in the Quran says, and if they try to force you to worship, to associate something else in worship with me, what does Allah say? Does Allah say hit them? Does Allah say strike them? Does Allah say curse them? Does Allah say get mad and yell at them? No. Allah says, do not follow through with their request. However, be good unto them in this life. Let's read the verse. It says, وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ حُسْنًا وَإِنْ جَاهَدَاكَ لِتُشْرِكَ بِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ فَلَا تَطِعْهُمَا إِلَيَّ مَرْجِعُكُمْ فَأُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. And we have enjoined unto man to be good and dutiful unto their parents, but if they strive to make you worship or associate in worship anything as a partner to Allah, that of which you have no knowledge, then do not obey them. Unto me is your return, and I shall tell you what you used to do. I'm the judge, you're not the judge. Remember that. Even if your parents are not good, you don't judge whether your parents are good or not. Allah judges that. Your job is to be good to your parents. If they command you, if they want you to do something haram, don't do it. But you don't stand in their face and you yell at them and you tell them, I'm not doing this because you want me to do this. Again, chapter 31, verse 15. وَإِنْ جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَن تُشْرِكَ بِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفٍ. But if they strive with you to make you join, to make you worship or associate with me others that which you have no knowledge, then do not obey them, but behave with them in this world kindly. Be good unto them. Behave with them, behave kindly with them in this world, and follow the path of he who turns in repentance. Follow the path of he who repents and who repents in obedience. Then to me you will return, and I shall tell you what you used to do. Don't be the judge. Let Allah be the judge. When we look at these verses, brothers and sisters, what do we see Ahlul Bayt saying? What is Ahlul Bayt's consideration of these verses? We see Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam. Imam Zayn al-Abidin says, وَحَقُّ أَبِيكَ أَن تَعْلَمَ أَنَّهُ أَصْلُكَ. You guys know what haqq means? The duty of your parent, that what you have towards your parent is to know that he is your origin. That he or she, your parents, are your origin. وَأَنَّهُ لَوْلَاهُ لَمْ تَكُنْ. And that without your parents, you would not exist. فَمَهْمَا رَأَيْتَ فِي نَفْسِكَ مَا يُعْجِبُكَ. Whatever you see in yourself that you like. Look at me, I have such great mannerisms. I am such a strong believer, so faithful to Allah. Whatever you see in yourself that you like, اعلم, know for a fact, إن أباك أصل النعمة عليك. Know for a fact that your father or your mother is the origin of that blessing upon you. The origin of that blessing upon you. فَاحْمِدُ اللَّهِ. Therefore give thanks to Allah. عَلَى قَدْرِ ذَلِكَ. Give thanks to Allah in accordance to what has been blessed upon you. وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. And know that you have no power without Allah. Know that you have no power without Allah. How can I be dutiful unto my parents? How can I be dutiful on to my parents? There are multiple ways. However, we're going to focus on 4 points. Those 4 points are, first and foremost, is loving your parents. Is showing love towards your parents. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. الثاني على حب الحسن والحسين. الثالثة لتعجيل فرج صاحب العصر والزمان. First and foremost, let's address the older crowd. Seeing as how most of it is going to be towards the younger crowd, let's address our fathers and our mothers and our seniors to whom we turn to learn from. How can I be good unto my parents if they have passed away? How can I do barr al-walidain if they have passed away? Brothers and sisters, please leave your cell phones. First and foremost, the Imam says, أن يصلي صلاة بر الوالدين. First and foremost is that you do salat birr al-walidain. What is this salat birr al-walidain? It's a 2 rak'ah salat. In the first one, you say after salat al-hamd 10 times رب اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات يوم يقوم الحساب. And in the second one, after surah al-hamd, you say 10 times رب اغفر لي ولوالدي ولمن دخل بيتي مؤمنا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات. And then after you do taslim, you say رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. Oh Allah, have mercy upon them just like they had mercy upon me when they raised me as a child. Why is that, brothers and sisters? Because usually when we're children we have no power. We have no hawl wala quwwah. Our hawl and our quwwah comes by Allah through our parents. So this 2 rak'ah will take how much from you? 5 minutes? 5 minutes, how much would it take? Do this, brothers and sisters. I strongly urge you to do this salat. Second, أن يتصدق عنهما, to give sadaqah on their behalf. My father was a poor man. I give sadaqah on his behalf. Even if he's living, I give sadaqah on his behalf. أن يقضي ما فاتهما من الصلاة والصيام والحج إن تمكن. That the individual makes up. Sisters, if we can please have silence. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. My sisters and my mothers, not because we're talking about you doesn't mean that you guys can not listen. We need you guys to focus with us, inshallah, so we can teach our younger crowd. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And by the way, the second part of this is going to affect the mothers a lot more, so I hope that they focus so that they have some ammunition to use towards their kids tonight, inshallah. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. The third thing is that you complete the salat, the siyam, and hajj if you are capable, on behalf of your parents. My father is a senior, he passed away, he could not do 3 years of his salat. It's my job, my obligation as the oldest son. So if you're the oldest son, get ready. Make sure they do their salat while they can. Otherwise you're doing it for them afterwards. Likewise with their siyam. Likewise with their hajj. I come from a poor family. Before my parents passed away, they couldn't do hajj. Now, alhamdulillah, I'm rich, I have money. I go do hajj on their behalf. Of course, you have to do your hajj that's wajib upon you first. Then the second or third time, you do it on behalf of your parents. By the way, I'm using these examples. My parents, alhamdulillah, are living and healthy. These are just examples I'm using. Fourth, أن يقضي ما عليهما من الديون. To pay whatever debt they were in. To pay their debt. Why? Because in most cases, their debt was for you. I'm not saying always. Now somebody's going to say, oh, but what if my parents are the kind of individuals that want to indulge themselves? I say even those individuals, they indulge themselves so that you can be indulged, so that you can enjoy. And in most cases, we see most of the debt, at least in my case, is to ensure my family is doing better. And that's in most cases. I want my family to have a better home. I want my family to have something better. So I go when I get in debt to ensure their betterments. The fifth, and this is very important, أن يزور المراقد الشريفة عنهما, that you do ziyarat on their behalf. If your parent could not make it to Karbala for Arba'een, go and do ziyarat for your father and your mother. Go and say that this walk that I walk, this pain that I feel of walking in Arba'een is for my father, is for my mother. Why? Because had it not been for your father and your mother, you would not say Aliyyun Waliyullah. If it was not for your mother and your father, you would not say La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah. Brothers and sisters, we need to remember Allah's favor upon us, that He created us Muslims in a Muslim home with Muslim parents that say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. That taught us the love of Ali ibn Abi Talib, that taught us the love and sacrifice of Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein and Sayyidah Fatima. There's a very beautiful poem in Arabic, so I don't remember the whole of it. Inshallah, remind me what I forget. It says, لِطِينَةٌ, I come from a clay that was made up from the love of Ahlul Bayt. Then it says, وَكَانَ لِي وَالِدٌ يَهْوَى. ذكرنا حجينا. لا القبلها مال الوالدة. Pretty much what it says is that I breastfed the hubb of Ali ibn Abi Talib from my mother. And I had a father who was in love. وَكَانَ لِي وَالِدٌ يَهْوَى أَبَا حَسَنٍ فَصُرْتُ مِنْ ذِي وَذَا أَهْوَى أَبَا الْحَسَنِ. And I had a father, I had a mother who, first of all, I was created from the clay of the love of Ahlul Bayt. Then the milk that I drank from my mother was the love of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Then I had a father who had hawa, yakana yahwa, meaning that he absolutely loved Amir al-Mu'mineen. So I became from her and from him an individual who loves Amir al-Mu'mineen. And that, unfortunately, subhanAllah, I don't know why I forgot the poem. It's a very, very famous poem. Everybody knows it. Nonetheless, Imam said, a man comes to the Imam, I want my sisters, our mothers, to listen to this hadith. A man came to the Imam, and he says to him, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Imam Abu Abdullah Ja'far al-Sadiq narrates this from the Prophet. A man came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi and he said to him, Ya Rasulullah, Man ubir. Who is it that I should be dutiful unto? What did the Prophet say? Your mother. The man says, and then who? The Prophet says, your mother. The man a third time says, and then who? The Prophet says, your mother. The man asks a fourth time. Seems like the man just kept on asking. On the fourth time, the man says, and then who? The Prophet says, then your father. Then your father. So inshallah, our mothers need to have this hadith in their purse. Whenever they say something, no, the Prophet says 3 times, your mother, your mother, your mother. However, brothers and sisters, that is only in mustahab. In wajib, you have to follow your father. Why? Because your father is the head of the household. However, in things that are mustahab, that are mubah, no, your mother always first. Your mother always first. And we have to, and I'm sorry, because I know that a lot of our brothers, when I say this hadith, they say, Shaykhna, what are you doing? You're turning the opinions against us. Brothers, these are the opinions of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi. Why is this important, brothers and sisters? Why is it important for us to be dutiful unto our parents? When we take it from a social aspect, we have to realize socially being good unto your parents has social benefits, social effects. Not only that, it has effects upon the individual himself. In fact, we see most brothers and sisters that grew up in a broken home, they have an issue with their identity. They have an issue with their personality. Their personality is not 100% in most cases. In some cases, let's not say most. In some cases. Why? Because we need to learn from 2 points of view. We need to understand, we need the compassion, the love, and the emotion of the mother. And we need the sternness, the decisiveness of the father. That's why we always tend to lean emotionally more towards the mother, emotionally. However, as you get older, you start noticing yourself more and more like your father. Why? Because the more and more you go out into the world, you start understanding, realizing why your father was stern. Why is it that your father was so hard on you, was so tough on you? And this is something that our teenage brothers need to realize. Our teenage brothers need to understand, when your father is telling you not to do something, it's not because he dislikes you. It's not because he doesn't want to see you have fun. It's not because he doesn't like your friends. It's because of the experience that he has had in the past. It reveals to him what is going to happen with you. I'll give you a prime example. If right now you're running in the street, okay? Or let's say you're walking and you see another child running in the street. And when he's running, there's a car coming. However, he does not see the car. What are you going to do? You're going to say, hey, hold on, buddy, wait 1 second. If he doesn't listen, you repeat it. Eventually, you're going to start yelling at him, correct? Eventually, you're going to start yelling, hold on, wait a second, you're going to get hit by a car. Why? Because you want to take him away from harm. Brothers and sisters, your father is the exact same way. Your father sees you playing around in this world, and he sees that the action you're doing will have this effect on you. And that's something I didn't believe when I was younger. Until I had a son, and I started seeing as I grew up, as I became more aware of the world around me, I started understanding the world around me, I started noticing these things. I started noticing that my father's sternness was not because he disliked me, was not because he didn't want to see me have fun, was not because he didn't like my friends. It was because he saw certain things that would have negative effects on me as an individual. And most of the time, I didn't listen, which caused him to get angry, which caused him to be upset. It's not that he was upset for no reason. It's that I didn't want to listen. I didn't pay attention. He would tell me something, I'll go and tell my mother, can I do this instead? and I was put one against the other in order for me to get what I want. Isn't that what most people do, what most children do? Except for those who are, inshallah, wiser than I was when I was younger. As for your mother is the center of emotion. Your mother is the center of love for you. Not saying that your father doesn't have love. Your father loves you just as much as your mother. However, his job is different than your mother's job. Your mother's job is to show you that compassion. Your mother's job is to be the shoulder you cry on. Is to be the arms that hug you, that wrap around you when you are sick. So that's something we have to realize, is that each one of our parents has a role to play. Yes, sometimes their actions don't seem logical to me, but that does not mean their actions are wrong. It means that their point of view is different from my point of view. All I want to do is play video games. But then my father looks at me and he says, if this kid keeps on playing video games, he's going to fail in school, he's going to flunk. If he flunks, he's not going to get a job, he's not going to get education, he'll end up being useless in the community. He'll end up begging for money for the rest of his life. My fathers, isn't that why we yell at our kids for not play too much video games? Because he doesn't want you to waste the most precious years of your life on useless stuff that will not benefit you. Nonetheless, continuing, 4 things that make us be dutiful unto our living parents. We gave the example of our dead parents. 4 things. Al-Hub, love, being thankful to them, Al-Shukr, Al-Ta'a, obedience, and Ihtiram, respect. What are they? Love, thankfulness, obedience, and respect. Each one of those plays its role in your life. And each one of those teaches you something in the world, not just at home. The first and foremost is love. Love is something that is innate within us, subconscious. I subconsciously love my mother. I subconsciously love my father. Even if I think my father was tough on me, even if I think whatever, I know within myself I love my parents. I love my siblings. Even though we fight, even though what have you. It is something that is within us. And the older you grow, the more it grows with you. The older you grow, the more it grows with you. Especially to your mother. And I'll be honest about that. Especially to your mother. Especially when you lose one of your parents. You might lose them because of death, but sometimes you might lose them because of travel, because of distance. Brothers and sisters, that's when you know the value of your parents. You might be 30, you might be 20, you might be 40, you might be 50, you might be 70. But when you don't have your parents to go back to in the time of hardship, that's when you find out that you are really alone in this world. Ask any of my brothers and sisters who have lost their parents. They might be 80 years old, but when they remember their father and their mother, automatically they want to cry. Why? Because they lost that backbone that supported them through their life. There's a small story, a beautiful story. They say that a man came to his son. His son was in his 20s and his 30s. And the man was an old guy. The father was an old guy. He looked at his son and he said to his son, who is stronger, me or you? They say the son looked at his father, smiled and says, I'm stronger. The father got upset and he says, I asked you who was stronger, me or you? The son again looked at his father and this time he's laughing. He says, of course I'm stronger than you. The father thought that the son is mocking him. He's saying, you're an old guy, you're no longer strong. They say that the father got very upset. He put his head down and he walked to the door. He looked back at his son and he says, who is stronger? He says, Baba, as long as you are in my life, I am stronger than you. As long as you are in my life. The second you leave this life, I am the weakest in existence. Brothers and sisters, we must realize our parents are our backbone. In Arabic, there is a poem in remembrance of Imam al-Hussein. It says, أثار الأب يا ناس خيمة يفيع العيال وحريمة. Oh my brother, it says, oh people, you have to realize that your father is like a tent over you. He shades you from the pains of this world. He shades over his women and his sons and his daughters from the pain of this world. The second is to be thankful. Being thankful is something that is logical as opposed to just simply emotional. We see that when we're walking out of a place or walking into a place and someone opens the door for us, what do we say? Thank you. When the individual doesn't say thank you, when you open the door for someone and they don't say thank you, how do you feel? What is wrong with this guy? Why wouldn't he say thank you? It's not his fault, it's my fault for leaving the door open for him. Isn't that how we feel? We feel insulted that that individual didn't thank me. Why? Because I did something for this individual without being prompted, for no reason. I wanted to be a nice person, I opened up the door for this individual. When he doesn't, or when she doesn't say thank you, I feel offended. I feel like I did something for you. The least you can do is say thank you. Now what about your father and your mother? Your father who slaved and worked and broke his back, and his hair is now full of white, his head is full of white hair, all to ensure that you have what you need. Your mother who slaved day in, day out, who stayed up all night, who would strive herself from sleep, who would wake herself up because you're crying and you cannot sleep. Don't they deserve a simple thank you? Don't they deserve being thanked properly? And we have to keep one thing in mind. When you want to thank someone, it depends on what they have done for you. When someone opens the door for you, you say thank you. But if I came and I gave you the keys to my car, is a simple thank you enough? What if you are about to die on death's door, and I come and I give you water to save your life? Is a simple thank you enough? What if I'm the individual who gave you everything that you have? What if I'm the individual who worked and slaved so you can go to school, so you can become a doctor, become a lawyer, become an engineer, become successful? Brothers and sisters, I'm going to use this as an example. Remember, we as children, this is in fact in a narration, one of the narrations from the stories of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Brothers and sisters, when we are babies, when we are young, our parents have no problem cleaning us, do they? In fact, they clean us and they're laughing, they're happy. They're happy, aren't they? How many videos on YouTube today you see of the parents cleaning their kids and they're laughing, they're making jokes? To them it's something that brings them joy, even though when you think about it, it shouldn't, it's disgusting. But it brings them joy. Why? Because they love you unconditionally. However, when my parents get old, and it's my turn to do for them what they did for me. My parents, when they would clean their child, when a parent cleans their child, regardless of how old the child is, they do it and they are happy, and they want to ensure his survival. They want to ensure that he is happy. However, when the son and the daughter grows up and they have to return the favor, and they have to clean their parents, they can't wait for them to leave. They have become too much. They have become a burden. What do? They send them to the senior center. I don't want to deal with it anymore. La ilaha illallah. The father and the mother who spend their whole life serving you at the end of their life, you throw them in a senior center. You let someone else care for the individual that cared for you your whole life. Is this justice? Is this being a good person? You can say whatever you want to say. Give whatever excuse you want to give. At the end of the day, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ بَصِيرًا وَلَوْ أَلْقَى مَعَاذِيرًا. Indeed, mankind is aware of themselves. They know themselves. They know what they do, even if they give their excuses. Even if you give your excuses, you know right from wrong. That's for this. The third, obedience. Brothers and sisters, obedience to your parents is an extension of obedience to Allah. No two ways about it. If your parents are unhappy with you, Allah is unhappy with you. That's it. No, but my parents, but I don't care. If they're unhappy with you, Allah is unhappy with you. It's that clear. However, that does not mean that you have to put yourself in harm's way in order to please them. In Islam we have no transgression, no oppression. And this should go to our parents first and foremost. Brothers and sisters, my parents, my brothers, my sisters, if your son does not want to marry a certain individual, you have no right to force them to marry that individual. You will set them up for failure. You will set them up for failure. If they see themselves wanting to marry someone else, first of all, in Islam, it's haram to force them to marry someone that they don't want to marry. If they accept, fine. If you come to them, my sister, my daughter, my brother, my son, I found the best bride for you. He likes the bride, she likes him, they want to get married, no problem. But to come and to force them and to say you have to, if you don't marry her, I will disown you. If you don't marry him, I will disown you. We don't accept that in Islam. In Islam, a part of zawaj is acceptance. A part of the aqd, of nikah, is acceptance. That's why when you go, you ask that sister, do you accept so-and-so as your husband? Brother, do you accept her as your wife? There should not be force in it, because we will set our children up for failure. If my son wants to be an engineer, but I'm a doctor, so I want him to be a doctor because I'm a doctor and my father is a doctor. Let me ask you a question, brothers and sisters. Which is better? A doctor that doesn't pray, or an engineer that prays? A doctor that doesn't believe in Allah, or a regular individual that believes in Allah? In my opinion, a garbage man that does his salat and that fears Allah is better than the doctor who doesn't fear Allah. In my opinion, because to me, Islam is what makes an individual worth. It's not the diploma that he holds. It's his faith that makes him worthy. However, that being said, that does not mean that our brothers and our sisters avoid their education deliberately because what? Oh, because I don't want to fall in line with what my father wants to do. There has to be a give and take. And in all honesty, my sisters, my brothers, we as the sons and as the daughters have to give more than we take. We have to give more than we take, because our parents gave everything for us. They left nothing unless they gave for us. So the least we can do is give in a bit, a little bit. We don't need to be hard-headed. There is no such thing as let me live my life. Your life is an extension of your father's life. And your father's life is your life. However, everything بشرطها وشروطها. There is a measurement for everything. I do not force, nor do I expect to be forced into anything. Especially life-altering decisions, brothers and sisters. Life-altering decisions. So when it comes to obedience, obedience in what is halal, obedience in what betters me, But we see that most of our brothers and our sisters, they are disobedient, deliberately disobedient for what they want, not for what they need, for what they think is correct. For example, some of our brothers and our sisters are disobedient in what? I want to finish my video game. You know what? I'm watching a soap opera. Let me finish this episode, then I'll go and I'll do what my mother wants. And brothers and sisters, we do this even with Allah. Even with Allah. The mu'adhin says, Hayya ala khayr al-amal. Come to the best of deeds, but to me the best of deeds is finishing my video game, finishing the soap opera. I put that as the best of deeds. The fourth is respect to your parents. I'm not going to spend a whole lot on this. I'm going to say it very simple. You want to be respected? Respect them. You want to be disrespected? Disrespect them. That's it. We've said enough about parents and their duty, and your duty towards your parents. You are an extension of them. You want people to respect you in the mosque. You want people to respect you outside. Respect your parents. Done. What you put in will come back to you. Kama tudin tudan. That's it. What you do unto people will be done unto you. You want to be respected? First and foremost, respect the individuals who have authority over you. You don't respect them, you're worthless in this existence. Period. I don't need to say any more than that. If you don't respect your parents, you are worth nothing. Even if your parents are kafir. Even if your parents are kafir. If you don't respect them, you have no respect. Because if you don't respect them and Allah says, be dutiful unto them, then you don't respect Allah by association. Al-Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, he says in the narration, 3 individuals, their dua is accepted right away. The first is the parent onto their child who is good to them, who is bar, who is dutiful. The second is the parent who makes dua upon their child, who is aaq, who is neglectful. And the third is the oppressed. Their dua is automatically accepted without delay. Without delay. However, Allah has given our parents patience more than what we have. Our parents always have more patience than us. We upset them, we hurt them, we insult them sometimes, we curse them sometimes, we get mad at them sometimes, but they don't make dua against us. Rather, they make dua for us. And we see this with our parents. I have just upset my mother, she raises her hands and she says, Allahumma hdi. Oh Allah, guide him to the right path. Brothers and sisters, as a part of being dutiful unto your parents is remembering them after their death, is remembering them all the time. We see Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam. Imam Zayn al-Abidin, when he saw the body of Imam Hussein on the ground, when he saw the body of Imam Hussein, he started leaning back and forth on the back of the camel. He started leaning back and forth on the back of the camel. Sayyidah Zainab says to him, Ya Amma, ma li araka tajudu bi nafsik. Why is it that I see you leaning back and forth? Why is it that I see you torturing yourself? He says, Amma Zainab, how can I not when I see the body of my father Hussein ibn Ali being torn up into pieces? Brothers and sisters, the body of Imam Hussein, do you know how they recognized him? They recognized him, he was a body without a head and without clothes. They recognized him because of how severe the torture was upon the body of Imam Hussein. How many spears were in his body, how many arrows were in his body, how many cuts were in his body. Not only that, his body was trampled by the horses to the point that it started shredding his skin it started separating pieces of meat from his body. Aywa Husayna, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salatu wassalam spent 40 years crying over his father. 40 years. They came to us, to one of his servants. They said, describe to us Ali ibn al-Husayn. She said to them, do you want me to take while or to be short? They said, be quick about it. She says, I did not lay for him a bed for him to sleep at night, nor did I bring him food to eat during the day. However, when he would break his fast, I would bring a little bit of water and some bread for him. He used to look at the water and he used to look at the bread. He says, أَأَكُلُ وَابْنُ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ قَدْ مَاتَ جُوعَانًا. Do I eat and the son of the Prophet died hungry? Do I eat and the son of the Prophet died thirsty? And he would say this until his beard is completely covered, saturated in his tears. She says, until the tears drip into his water. They narrate that every single time Imam Zain al-Abidin would pass by a slaughterhouse, a slaughter shop for meat, he would look at the place and he would say, Ya Hussein, Ya Aba Ya Hussein, Amma anta faqad qutilta atshana, you were killed thirsty. In some narration they say that he walked next to a slaughterhouse, so he heard the butcher say to his son, he says, did you give the lamb any water? He says, yes, father, I did. They say Imam Zain al-Abidin stopped. He says, let me ask you a question. Do you always give the lamb water before you kill it? The man said, of course, Ibn Rasulullah, this is what we learned from you and from the Prophet. He said he cried and he looked towards Karbala and he says, Aba ya Hussein, hatta shat, even the lamb is given water before it is killed. Amma ant, as for you, you were killed next to the Furat thirsty. The Imam says, Inna jaddi al-Husayn qutila kama qutilat al-shat. Imam Hussein was killed the way a lamb was killed. I asked one of our teachers the other day, I said, Maulana, say, Shaykhna, what does it mean like a lamb? Why like a lamb? Because we know Imam Hussein was killed 14 times at the back of the head, and a lamb is killed from the throat. Why like a lamb? He says, Shaykh Khalid, you misunderstood. Like a lamb, not the way he was killed. Like a lamb in the situation of a lamb. Meaning what? Meaning that today when we walk by and we see someone slaughtering a lamb, we don't care. We go upon our way. We move on. He says Imam al-Hussein was killed in that same way. They killed him and they didn't care. They moved on with their life. They moved on with their days. Not only that, they put his head on the top of a spear. Sahl ibn Sa'd al-Sa'idi, one of the companions of the Prophet, he says, I entered Damascus. He says, when I entered Damascus, I entered a city full of rivers and greenery. And I saw that they had women playing with the tabl, with the drums, and singing and dancing. Then I saw an old man standing and crying. So I walked up to the old man. I said, Ma a'jaba amrukum, how strange is your city? He says, who are you? He says, Ana Sahl ibn Sa'd. I'm one of the companions of the Prophet. He says, what do you want? He says, it's strange. On over here you have people singing and dancing and overjoyed. And I see you're an old man crying and weeping. What is the problem? The man says to him, Ya Sahl, ma a'jabaka an la tatbuq as-samawatu ala al-ard. How strange is it that the heavens have not fallen upon the earth? Sahl said, why? He says, لَقَدْ جَاءُوا بِرَأْسِ الْحُسَيْنِ مِنْ كَرْبَلَى مِنَ الْكُوفَةِ. So he says, I was shocked. The head of Hussein comes from Karbala, from Kufa to Damascus, and people are overcome with joy. He said, I asked him, where will they come from? He pointed to the door. He called to a gate called Babu Sa'at, the gate of clocks. Nonetheless, he says, I went over there. It wasn't but a few moments, and I saw the camels and the caravan show up. I look up and I saw the head of Shabih Rasulullah. I saw the head of Ali ibn al-Husayn al-Akbar alayhi salam. I looked at him, I was in shock and in awe. Then behind him, I saw a servant girl. I walked up to her. I said to her, Amatallah, who are you? She looks at me and she says, and who are you? He says, I am Sahl ibn Sa'd, one of the individuals, one of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad. He says that she started crying. And she said, Ya Sahl, Ana Ruqayya bint al-Husayn. Or Ana Sukayna bint al-Husayn. I am Sukayna, the daughter of Imam Hussein. He said, I started beating my head and I said, Mawlati, what can I do for you? She said, Ya Sahl, don't do anything for me. But if you have a couple of dollars, pay them, a couple of dinars, pay them to Hamil Ra's Walidi. Give them to the one who's carrying my father's head, and let him move away from within the women. فَقَدْ خُزِينَا. We feel we can't bear any more people looking at us. He says, I did so. When he did that, he says, I paid him the money. However, the second they entered the market, they returned the head within the women, within amongst the women. Brothers and sisters, our duty unto our parents is something that is unbearable. It's something that is unbelievable. Our job towards our parents is something that we cannot neglect, that we cannot overlook. Indeed, we all sit here and we say that we are the followers of Ahlul Bayt. The followers of Ahlul Bayt have to follow the Quran. And the Quran specifically says that the first and foremost is worshipping Allah, and do not associate anything, do not do shirk with Allah. Then be dutiful unto your parents. It is an extension of Allah's request. I ask Allah بحق الحسين الوجيه وجده وأبيه وأمه وأخيه فرج عنا يا الله اقض حوائجنا شافي مرضانا ترحم على أمواتنا. I apologize today, I took a lot longer than usual. I should have ended 15 minutes ago. However, I found it important that we continue with the concept of our parents, inshallah. Brothers and sisters, there are a lot of people that constantly call me asking me for dua. Please don't forget our marhum Muhammad Ali. Please give your condolences to his brother, I forgot the brother's name, my apologies. Khairullah, brother Khairullah Yusufi, our greatest condolences to him. Inshallah, we ask you to remember all of our amwat, all of our shuhada, all of our brothers and sisters, specifically al-marhum Muhammad Ali, in your dua. رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة مسبوقة بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. Brothers and sisters, a reminder at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, we will have a Q&A dialogue here. Okay? 10 o'clock for the brothers and for the sisters, not just for the brothers. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu ala Muhammad wa alihi at-tahirin.
Ya Hussein, brother Anisar, please. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. Stay for the matam, please. Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein.
कहा किसी ने सकीना से तुम दुआ ये करो, कोई भी बेटी तुम्हारी तरह यतीम न हो. कहा किसी ने सकीना से तुम दुआ ये करो, कोई भी बेटी तुम्हारी तरह यतीम न हो. कोई भी बेटी तुम्हारी तरह यतीम न हो. कहा किसी ने सकीना से तुम दुआ यह करो, कोई भी बेटी तुम्हारी तरह यतीम न हो. वो जिसका दिल है दुखी रात भर न نہیں سوتا، دعائیں کرتے ہوئے جب بھی ہے کوئی روتا، سنا ہے اس کی دعاؤں میں ہے اثر ہوتا، ہمارے گھر ہو سلامت یہ تم دعا مانگو، کوئی بھی بیٹی تمہاری طرح یتیم نہ ہو، کہا کسی نے سکی سے تم دعا یہ کرو، کہا کسی نے کہ بابا سفر پہ نکلے ہیں، کہا یہ مان کے اس سے دعائیں لیتے ہیں، ہمارے بیوی بہت چھوٹے چھوٹے بچے ہیں، سکینہ سوچنے لگتی ہے لاش اصغر کو، کوئی بھی بیٹی تمہاری طرح یتیم نہ ہو، کہا کسی نے سکینہ سے تم دعا یہ کرو، ہاں یہ کہہ رہے ہیں کہ بیمار کو دوا دیں گے، کفن شہیدوں کو بہنوں کو ہم ردا دیں گے، یہ 4 سال کی بچی کو ہم دعا دیں گے، ہمیں بھی ایک دعا چاہیے یہ سے کہو، کوئی بھی بیٹی تمہاری طرح یتیم نہ ہو، کہا کسی نے سکینہ سے تم دعا یہ کرو، ہاں یہ ننھی بچی کی حالت پہ کوئی کہتا ہے، نجف میں اس کا کوئی رشتہ دار رہتا ہے، چھینی ہے بالیاں کانوں سے خون بہتا ہے، لرزتے باپ ہے یہ دیکھ کر تماچوں کو، کوئی بھی بیٹی تمہاری طرح یتیم نہ ہو، کہا کسی نے سکینہ سے تم دعا یہ کرو، کہا کسی نے جو یہ بھی پیا ہے بے چادر، یہ فخر مریم سارا ہے آل پیغمبر، یہ توق میں جو برادر ہے عابد مزتر، امام وقت ہے یہ دے دعا کہو ان سے، کوئی بھی بیٹی تمہاری طرح یتیم نہ ہو، کہا کسی نے سکینہ سے تم دعا یہ کرو، یہ فاطمہ کے ہیں گھر کی عظیم ہے رتبے، دعا کرے کہو مشکل کشا کی پوتی سے، بہت قریب ہے بچی یہ عرش خالق کے، دعا یہ مانگ لگنا کے ننھے ہاتھوں کو، کوئی بھی بیٹی تمہاری طرح یتیم نہ ہو، کہا کسی نے سکینہ سے تم دعا یہ کرو، ہاں نہیں ہے اب یہ کرتے کو دھو نہیں سکتی، یہ رونا چاہتی ہے اور رو نہیں سکتی، یہ قید خانے میں ایک پل بھی سو نہیں سکتی، نہیں ہے بات किसी
सकीना से तुम दुआ करो।
दुआ तो कर दी सकीना ने हाथ फैला कर, लरज रहा है कमर अर्श खालिक़े अकबर। फूफी ने थामा सकीना को फट गया न जिगर। हुसैन की तरह कितनी करीम है देखो, कोई भी बेट तुम्हारी तरह यतीम न हो। कहा किसी ने सकीना से तुम दुआ यह करो।
या हुसैन
इन हुसैन की इसके आलम हम दीवाने इन चशम इसके जोना हम परवाने हर कसी माल से करबो बलायाज दारन। من ندانم که جس رزق در خانه یوست. غریب مظلوم ابو عبدالله الحسین و یاران موافایش بلند صلوات. سه ضربه ببین حال پریشانم حسین جانم حسین جانم ببین حال پریشانم
حسین جانم حسین جانم
ببین حال پریشانم حسین جانم
حسین جانم
بناله ای عزاداران کی روز اربعین آمد بر روز قبر سار الله چنان با دل غمین آمد. من از شام بلا برگشتم با این یتیمانت. نگاهی کن برادر جان بعد فال پریشانت و بنال پریشانم حسین جانم حسین جانم ببین حسین جانم
حسین جانم
ببین حال پریشانم
حسین جانم حسین
جانم زنجا برخیز دلجویی نماز کودکانی خی ببین نیلی شده از زر به سنی روی طفلانت. سکینه بر سر قبر تو نالد از جگر امروز. نوازش کن در این دختر شود جانم به قربانت و بناله ببین حال جانم چه زن گویم رقیه جان بلا جان گوشه ویران ز غربت گشته شد آن دل غمین از درد ایرانت. از آن روزی که از کویت برادر جان سفر کردم چه صبری در مصیبت ها منی خونین جگر کردم ببین حال ببین حال جانم برای حفظ جان کو دکانم در ور دشمن به پیش تازیانه با زوی خود را سپر کردم سر از محمل شکستم بر در دروازه کوفه بروی نی سرد را من نظر کردم ببین حالی
قریشانم حسین جانم حسین جانم ببین حال قریشانم حسین جانم
حسین جانم نگویی در بین آمد نگویی در بین آمد نیامد خواهرم زینب برای تو عربت پاکر سری با من جراوردم زرای شاه و من از بر بسی تشنه سرآوردم نپنداری که زینب وفا بودای برادر جان ببین حالی
قریشانم
Ya Hussein, we still have 10 minutes.
های فلک شام کجا زینب افکار کجا هم گلسوم کجا کوچه و بازار کجا تشت زرین یزید و لب پرخون حسین چوب خزران کجا آن لب و دندان کجا گریه مکن خواهر من زینب آید اگر یاد وطن زینب گریه مکن خواهر من زینب آید اگر یاد وطن زینب اگر که دشوار بود راحت عهد که بستی مشکن زینب گریه مکن خواهر من زینب آید اگر یاد وطن زینب پشت و پناه تو بود داور آه مکش سینه های خواهر پشت و پناه تو بود داور آه مکش سینه های خواهر کشته شوم گرمن بیاور تشنه بدشت پرموهن زینب گریه مکن خواهر من زینب آید اگر یاد وطن زینب گریه مکن خواهر من زینب آید اگر یاد وطن زینب اگر که دشوار بود راحت عهد که بستی مشکن زینب گریه مکن خواهر من زینب آید اگر یاد وطن زینب در سفر پر خطر و مشکل اگر شود هجوم غم حائل مشو زیال کودکان غافل وقت اسیر و رنج و غم زینب گریه مکن خواهر من زینب آید اگر یاد وطن زینب اگر که دشوار بود راحت عهد که بستی مشکن زینب گفت با زینب شب عاشورا شبه رسول اکرم که فردا سرخ شوی یک سر این صحرا ز خون 72 تن زینب گریه مکن خواهر من زینب آید اگر یاد وطن زینب
Yeah. درود بر محمد و آل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين يا سيد الوسيم، السلام عليك يا فاطمة، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء يا سيدة النساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي الزكي، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين، السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين يا زين العابدين، السلام عليك يا محمد الباقر، السلام عليك يا جعفر الصادق، السلام عليك يا موسى الكاظم، السلام عليك يا علي بن موسى الرضا، كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء، السلام عليك يا محمد الجواد، السلام عليك يا علي الهادي، السلام عليك يا حسن العسكري الزكي، السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان، السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان، الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان، أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك وجعلنا من خير أعوانك وانصارك. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته.